Momentum.
Momentum.
That's it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Momentum, the #1 podcast in the UK. So let's kick things off. We're gonna learn as we go. That's how we do things. This is our first podcast episode, so finally, guys, welcome. Today, as a guest / co-host, we have Imtiaz Sharifi.
Okay.
He is the CEO of ABC, the Afghan British Council, and then we have us, the co-CEOs of the BNP ecosystem. We're gonna have an overview of Imtiaz's professional life, the adventures that he's been through, and I think that a lot of you guys will be quite impressed and surprised.
I'm excited.
When you learn more about what he's been doing throughout his life. And honestly, I still think he's in like his early 30s. And when I look at his resume, it just makes no sense. I don't know how he keeps himself looking so young, but maybe we'll find out that today as well. So, please, Imtiaz, introduce yourself.
Thank you. Nick, as you mentioned, my name is Imtiaz. I'm above 40, so that should be enough for the age. If the more I say, it gets complicated. I'm also the head of Afghan British Council, as you might know, and we have got more than 3,500 members, or should I say, participants or team in the group, and we do various events all across London, as you might know, and they range from a lot of things which we'll discuss, whether it's fashion shows, business networkings, whether it's capacity building, giving newly Afghans seminars on eBays, on Amazons, and especially we had a recent with BNP was about kindness. So we'll talk about the objectives of ABC as we go along, but this is what we do. And part of that, I've got 2-3 other jobs also that I'm doing, especially with the BNP and especially other private side hustles, as you call it. I'm doing that also.
Fantastic. So for those of you that don't know, we run the Business and People Hub. The Business and People Hub is part of a business ecosystem. We'll go more into that later. But Hamza, tell us what the Business and People Hub is.
The Business and People Hub is a place where ideas can turn into traction, and traction can turn into high generating revenue. And that's what we're about. The Business and People Hub exists because we've been through, as you know, we've been through so much struggle trying to find a community that fits us. And I've been building communities over the last, close to 7 years. And before I met you, I think I was just going through learning curve after learning curve. And then when I met you and your consultancy background, and because your understanding of entrepreneurship and how ideas turn into traction, it kind of just fused together so well. So the Business and People Hub, the best way I can explain it, exists because it must. Because there's so much struggle in the entrepreneurial world, and there's so little help. Actually, there's so little of the right help to help these entrepreneurs grow. And that's what the Business People Hub is, a place where entrepreneurs can come in, grow their business, build frameworks, get resources, connect with the right people, get investment. And we'll talk about investment later on, but it's a place that people can just go call home for business.
Awesome. Fantastic. Imtiaz, you mentioned that you're the head of ABC. What is the ABC?
Well, ABC stands for Afghan British Council, as you know, and over the last couple of years, we wanted to be a voice for the voiceless in the Afghan community. As you know, especially in our country, there has been, in terms of gender, in terms of other forms of unfairness that has been going around, and we believe that Afghan British Council should be a voice for the voiceless, and a point where people can express themselves, a point they can express their political views, religious views. We believe that no one is above each other in terms of gender, in terms of religion, in terms of ideologies. This is what ABC stands for. And throughout the last couple of years, we have managed good movie nights, capacity buildings. We have done seminars on business events. We have also done mentorship for the Afghans, and also we promote Afghan businesses within one each other to help them grow, to help them make their sales. We help them in jobs, like Afghans that have came recently to UK. We also help them find jobs because they're new, and we build their skills through IT, through Amazon, through eBay, through knowledge that they acquire. They can become better persons integration in terms of UK. We also do charity fundraising in UK quite a lot, to be honest. We had many successful charity events where we raised money for the Afghan orphans, for the Afghan schools. We joint partner with other charitable organizations, and we help them fund those causes, especially the agriculture causes, orphan causes, orphanage, and school causes, to be honest. So this is the overall idea of ABC. And luckily now that we have merged or partnered with business and people, that has given us a really boost, a momentum. The right word is momentum that we have gained thanks to BNP, that we can reach new goals, new height. We'll also talk about the future projects, future plans, future vision that we have jointly thanks to BNP, that we are getting a website, an app, a vision of working together, which we'll talk during the course of the program.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's go back. I'm just going to guess 20, maybe 25 years. Tell us about how you started in business. How did everything start?
Well, first of all, I have studied business in university. I've graduated with double bachelor's in business studies and management. I've also got my master's from Switzerland. In business, I have worked with many esteemed companies. You could say multinational companies, like we have a top company of Alakozai, of Comair. They do aviation, FM, fast moving goods, and other things. So I always wanted to help the business aspect of other companies. I've also had my own company in Dubai where we used to supply fuel to major airlines, to be honest, and it was called Afifco with my partner, and so that was the first step of my business. But then I went to Afghanistan. I was also teaching universities in the morning classes between 6 to 7 p.m. and 7 to 8 p.m. on a daily basis. I was teaching them business studies to youngsters who wanted to, because I had ample experience in Dubai, in UK, and Afghanistan. So it's only fair I could teach my own people in Afghanistan in university about businesses. That's how the whole idea of the business came. But overall, I was also working in Ministry of Finance as Director of Value-Added Tax, which also dealt with thousands of business companies, to be honest. We helped them out with their registration, we helped them out there with their compliance, we helped them out with their income tax forms, their business forms. So it was a whole circle, like there was no way of getting out of this whole business pattern. That's how I got involved in it.
Fantastic. So that sounds like a very long journey. How and what made you think about business? How did you, what made you want to engage with business to begin with, even from when you were a child? How did you, was it like part of your family or?
To be honest, since I came to UK long time ago, since the age of 16, I only had $20 in my pocket, or should I say $20, yes, because we came with dollars from Afghanistan to UK. And from that, we did many small jobs of businesses as to learn the skills, that craft of business. The skills that I learned from them, the habits, the management, because I was young, and I don't get impressed by learning new skills from people, but the people that I had the courage, the people that I had the pleasure, the fondness of working with them, I learned many skills, Nick, that till now I haven't had anybody learn from them. So that was me getting into business, to be honest. And the same pattern followed in Dubai for 6 years, the same followed in Afghanistan and in UK. So it's been all over the world, and especially USA also.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say was, when you first came here, did you speak English?
Yes, because I had spent 4 years. It's strange, from small childhood to the age of 12. You would not believe it, but we changed 10, 12 different schools. Why? Because we went to Pakistan for school, we went to India for school, we went to Saudi Arabia for school, we went to Dubai for school, we went to England for school, and within each countries we were changing houses. So I learned good English in India because we were there 5 years in India. So that's how my English was picked up from, or that's where I learned English.
Okay, and when you first came here, what would you say? Because it sounds like you were kind of forced into entrepreneurship at the beginning because of just life, right? What was the most difficult part of it?
Uh, to be honest, England is a very unique country. It challenges you in all aspects of life. It makes you stronger. It not be fair to say because when you don't have anybody, any connection, any networks, any if you're not funded from beforehand, it kind of breaks you initially, to be honest. And the whole learning process of how you become stronger throughout the years is what really defines you. Culture was completely different in UK because in Afghanistan, in Dubai, in Middle East, we have complete different norms of networking or culture or food or the people. I think community-wise, we are completely different, Nick, to how we either support each other or either work with each other or the whole networking aspect was kind of completely new for me in UK. Everybody is busy in their own life. In Afghanistan, it's a bit of a laid back life, like family life. I'm sure UK also has it, but since I was completely new, the connection, the people was completely strange. And when you're starting from zero, uh, that's always the. I know in many motivation talks, podcasts, they say when you start from zero, you've got nothing to lose, or you'll make money. Because you're already in zero. But when you're in zero, it's very very hard getting into that 1% or making your first contact or getting your first break. That's morale is low, confidence is low, everything is low. But once you hustle to the first gear, life becomes easy. So I feel the pain of all these new people that are coming to UK in the last 4 or 5 years. I know what I went through 20 years ago. So I know exactly their pain of their work, their network. And in our community, you would not believe that I get 200 messages per day on my Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram about networking, about jobs, about their documents, about their next steps, and which business to get into, to be honest. All of them ask me the first question, which business should I do in UK first?
Hmm. I can relate to that a lot because when I first moved here almost 7 years ago, um, building my network was the hardest part. I wasn't able to break into any of the communities that exist here. So I really had to fight to make my first contacts. It took me about 6 months, to be honest, and I was working in multiple places. That's a story for another day, and that didn't help at all. I thought that's going to propel me into all kinds of different communities and get me all types of contacts, but it really didn't.
Yeah.
But I'd really like to hear what your experience is as somebody that's been here from a very young age. How did you grow up and how did you decide to go into entrepreneurship?
Oh, my situation is a bit of a dark one because I was always an academic. I did well, just about well enough in school. Um, but then I'm a civil engineer by qualification. I did all that university stuff, went to college. Parents chased me to become a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, so I chose engineering, even though I wanted to become a dentist initially, like every other Afghan. And then that didn't really work out. And then I got into my master's. I got really sick. So from the moment that I got sick, I was diagnosed with 2 autoimmune conditions. From that moment, everything just changed for me. In fact, they told me I had 6 years to live because of my autoimmune conditions. And because of that, I had to survive and get back to life. I had to save myself. So I became my own doctor. I understood endocrine balance, limbic system, microbiome, you name it. I know more about the body than I know about anything else. So I had to bring myself. Once I started managing my health, I got into my first ever desk job. And it was an online state agency. And I said, you know what? Life has taught me enough to now use what I did in my body, to use what I did for myself to get back to life. I'm going to do the same thing in business because if the principles of life, business, and character is the same, then it's going to work. So when I got in, I did the same thing. So I built an auctions department. I sold properties. I broke sales records. Then I realized, oh shit, this is working. And that's why the mindset wasn't there initially, I'll be honest. But I was forced into entrepreneurship because if I can get myself back into life, then I can best build the best business in the world with the right people. And that's why I'm thankful to have you guys.
Yeah, I think the whole concept is that throughout the years of 30 years or 20 years, it makes us who we are. Like all the struggles, all the health scares, or all the hardship that one goes through. It's life brings us to this stage, and I'm sure you are successful because of what you've been through. Similarly, Nick, and what we have been through. So it's
It's a funny situation because now every time that Nick, because Nick sees everything, right? Me and Nick, we work like we know about it. He's so close to me right now. He's like the brother I never had and beyond. And it's like when we get into situations where we see people not working the way they should, or we get the biggest mountain that we have to climb just to get to the other side, we can do it. It's a challenge and we get even more excited. I get so excited to overcome those challenges because of those health experiences, because I know impossible, it's not in my vocabulary anymore. So it has to work, or we make it work and we push through. If the mountain we can't climb, we're going to break that mountain into pieces and we're going to get to the other side.
That's a very nice thing. Yes, it is, because some people don't, they see the mountain and they think it's not worth the climb, they just get back. So the way you mention it is quite positive, very.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Just a thing to add, Nick, in my early life, I joined a shop called Blockbusters that I was working. And the reason I'm saying is because it's got element to it. I have a skill that not many people have. Not, I'm sure you'll be surprised. I wrote in my CV one day that skill, and many people looked at it and said, "Bro, that's not even a skill. Why even mentioning it in your CV?" So I had the pleasure of working in Blockbuster. It's all closed now thanks to Netflix, and they have bankrupted, or they have completely. But if you look at the podcasts, it was Netflix did offer them whatever. So
I want to go back to something that we just skimmed over, but I think it deserves a bit more attention overall. Ministry of Finance.
wow.
Tell us a bit more about that. That's what I'd like to hear about.
That's Pandora's box, to be honest. I'd rather not talk about it, but because it's one of those scenarios that the low developed countries, there's bound to be corruptions for various reasons. Systems are not there. Some of the people are not there correctly. But I also worked in one of those ministry that was always this eyebrows used to go up. Ministry of Finance, and especially in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, even in India, there's room for improvement. That's all I can say. In our Ministry of Finance, I did my studies, finished in 2007, and then I worked 5 years in Dubai. Then people always tell me you have to work in Afghanistan for the sake of the country, for the development, for the rehabilitation. You're a skill, you're an asset. You have studied in England, you have learned many, use it there. And yes, I had seen the customer service of UK, and I wanted to transfer that skill to Ministry of Finance. It was very hard getting into the system of Ministry of Finance because with the exams, with the procedures, with the systems that they had, I did not had many good experiences initially. I'm talking about 12, 13 years ago, of how to get into it. But I always kept my motive that I will get in there. I'll try to bring improvements in customer service, client service, enforcement department, in the taxation department to my experience. I mean, I was also new, but the idea was to serve. So I did work there for 10 years in various, we also worked in aid management, like all the foreign country, the donors, especially the USA, the DFID department for the UK one, and from Spain, from Italy, all these big countries. They had an ARTF fund, they had a budget fund, they had many funds, and we used to get this aid from foreign countries and put it back into various projects of agriculture, food, women projects, peace projects, government projects. So this was one of the other issues. And we also, the last 5 years, I was working on a policy of VAT. It wasn't implemented, but I worked on all the structures myself, on the policies, on the books, on the manuals, passing the whole law from the parliament. That was like 2-3 years of work done. And we had a good team from Lebanon. The director of Lebanon was working with me, and we made that into a success. It's still not implemented in Afghanistan for various reasons, but at my time it was 99% ready to be implemented by the time the government collapsed. So that's
Okay. Wow. What would you say is, I think we get this question quite a lot in the hub overall, and that's why I want to ask it. Probably, um, if there was an audience, at least 70% of them would want to hear the answer, just out of my experience. What would you say is a common misconception that people have when it comes to overall the Ministry of Finance of any country, realistically, when it comes to budgets, when it comes to taxation, VAT? What would you say is a misconception that is just generally recycled?
to be honest, in low developing countries like there is a small misconception that everybody might be in the wrong, but I believe 95% of people are hard-working people. They earn to their salary. There's a very small percentage, in my opinion, that might be doing some wrongdoing. This is
You mean not pay taxes, not pay VAT?
no, working the employee staff. Yes, work here. There's two elements. One is people who are working Ministry of Finance, and the people who are not paying their taxes. That's a different element. Like we're talking about the employees and
Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant as
the taxpayers. Like in foreign countries, like especially UK, USA, if you're owed £5 of tax, the government will spend at least 100,000 with their team resources to recuperate that £5. But in less developing countries, for the £5 or even higher amount, they will kind of ignore is the wrong word, but they'll not take it that seriously. But and also awareness in our countries, because taxation is in Afghanistan, rural country. Many people don't know how to fill in their forms, how to go online. Electricity is a problem. If you want to update that whole country in terms of systems, it's a very challenging aspect. So that's why many people, not that they don't want to pay taxes, they're not aware of their responsibilities, the quarterly, the yearly, and many people, it's a very small, not small majority, but most of the companies that are registered do pay their taxes. But overall, a lot of the awareness, education needs to be enhanced over there.
okay. Another really exciting part that I want to ask you about specifically, Ministry of Defense of the U.S.
Yeah, that's
We want to hear about that.
Yeah, 100%.
uh, you could argue I was very lucky to work with them with a project of Department of Defense of USA, because that's a complete different world, Nick and Hamza. I worked 1.5 years in areas of Kandahar, Zabul, areas that I cannot even imagine the places that I have been there. Well, basically, I was a culture advisor in my contract, but I was also an interpreter. I was also helping community leaders explain peace building. I was with many commanders, generals that we were there in Afghanistan. The whole idea is that how we can eradicate crops. For example, the poppies that we were growing, how they can grow pomegranates, how they can grow wheat. It's sad. It did backfire on us because we told farmers, or the Americans told farmers, that stop growing poppies, we'll fund you to grow fruits, vegetable, agriculture, or pomegranate, or many things, So it worked very well because people were eradicating their poppies, but many people were growing it because they saw that the Americans are paying money for poppies. So instead of working in a good favor, it worked in a bad favor. But it was really great. Like Americans did come for the reconstruction, rehabilitation of Afghanistan. I was also full places in Afghanistan. We also met. At that time, it was the Afghan police. I was like a mediator between the Afghan police and the Taliban, like to come together, work together. And luckily, Taliban, or should I say, now we're in a situation that Taliban have taken over. It's a reality. And the ABC database that we have, Hamza, of engineers, PhD people in agriculture, in finance, in in any aspect, they're ready to serve Afghanistan. Like we don't, I know Taliban have their difficulties, their challenges with the people. People are not a big fan of them, but we are there to serve the people, you know. Our famous cricketer Rashid Khan, once they asked him about Afghanistan, and they said, "What's your view of Afghanistan? Is it a lost cause or something like that?" And the answer that he gave is, Afghanistan is ناغرزونکه هواد, like it does not fall, it falls but stands up again, like doesn't fall but stands up. And I'm sure we are in that
Falls but doesn't quit.
falls but doesn't quit kind of a thing. I know since 40 years, Nick, we are good. That country is going through wars, be it the Russians, be it the Mujahideens, be it the Taliban, be it two Talibans, 1996 and now. So, but we as ABC are here that any time the call is given to us to serve the country, we have got this pool of talented people that can go and serve Afghanistan in various fields: currency, agriculture, businesses, you could argue, IT, especially with people like you, the BNP, they'll be able to help them in, and because the people are suffering, you know, we are there to help the people, the economy. So we are there as a focal point, as a bridge to always be there to serve them.
Beautiful. Since I've been fortunate enough to meet Imtiaz before, because I never knew about the Afghan community. I was never integrated before that. And then when I first met Imtiaz, that was the only first time ever I saw what he was building. And as a community leader, I thought, I have to get my foot into this. You know, coming from the same place and all of these things. And it's absolutely true, because ever since, I've just been speaking to a lot of Afghans. I've had a lot of conversations. I've explored their businesses, dissected what they wanted to achieve.
Yes, thank you.
And there's a lot of potential. There's incredibly, incredibly smart Afghans within the ABC and beyond. And sometimes we'll get onto the issues of why they don't collaborate as well as they should. And that's what we're trying to solve in the long term. But it is beautiful. The minds of the Afghans, they don't give up.
Anik, I'm sure you'll be lucky enough one day to visit Afghanistan. The hospitality, I think, I have been to more than 30 countries. I've been there. I can tell you, because I've not been to 5, 6, 30 countries, a good number. We as Afghanistan, Hamza, I'm sure you can vouch for that. We are the most hospitable people in the whole planet, because when a guest comes to our house, we treat them with the upper respect. If we have food, we share that with them. If we have water, we share that with them. In the 1992, a famous Bollywood star, Amitabh Bachchan, went to Afghanistan, and I think he had some problem with the housing. And believe me, the whole street had left their houses for him that he can stay at the night. And he has mentioned it in his clip himself. So, and also, we are nice people. We have got simple, we have the beautiful heart people that I have came across in my lifetime. Summarize that military thing, it was one of the most learning chapter of my life, because I learned how these armies survive on food, and the MRAP, or the food that are given to them, how they time. One thing I love, all guards play these killing games, these Fortnite game. That was something unique to me at night time. And the camps, like in a complete desert, you have nothing there, Nick and Hamza. How they make that desert into a house, whether it's portable water, toilets, setup, the camps. The worst part of the military is the beds, Hamza. The bunk beds are really the most uncomfortable element of when you are working where in those areas. The rest, everything is cool, because soldiers and army and friends. I had I had a kidney stone problem. I had a stone at that, and I didn't know what it was, to be honest. It was just a pain in the back. It was first time, and I thought I was fit. I was playing football and everything. And how those soldiers came to my rescue to do an operation on me in middle of nowhere, that's for another day also, to be honest. Because it was kidney stone, but they did a operation of appendix on me, if that makes sense. We didn't know what was happening, what the pain was. So because appendix is very common in Afghanistan, so they took my appendix for no reason, but I still had pain. So I was joking that, guys, you may have left a knife there or something, you know. So, that's military.
Okay. So you guys do a lot of work with the ABC. I I assist from the outside mainly. I join events whenever I can. But what is the ABC doing right now, and what is it going to be doing in the next 12 months? Let's say.
I think Hamza Jan, well, ABC, I would like his input more also now that we are collaborators, we are partners in the Afghan community, and he has got the same vision as me because the moment I met Hamza, I know I got a replicate version of me, a younger replicate version of me. Though to be fair, I've got a great team of a female and a male that are working with us, like Miss Sadaf Tuzad and Asad Sikandar, and our team. They're very good, but somebody from BNP to come along, it kind of rejuvenate this whole process. It kind of speeds it up. It kind of makes it more up to date. So we are also doing it. So ABC has done quite a lot in the last 1 year, as I mentioned again. If you're a filmmaker, we promote your film. If you're a music guy, we promote you. If you're a business, we promote your business. But all in communities of 300 people, where whether you need some help in mentorship, we provide you a mentor to teach you new skills and everything. In the past, we have helped Afghans in all aspect of life. One must not forget we help Afghans, but now we are moving into business aspects of it more. We have many events coming up in the coming months. Hamza can give a brief of that. We're also helping real estate companies now. We are going to help them with their sales. We are going to help them promote them in UK hopefully, and we'll have many seminars of awareness. We'll have many seminars of why invest in the real sector, be it in UK or Dubai. This is one of the areas that we're working. I think by the time this video is up, this is one of the areas we're working at, the real estate promotions, hopefully.
Yes. So tell me about those events.
Yeah, so we've got a good few events. Just before I jump on the events, because of the conversations I've had daily, and I always go back to Nick and we strategize about these guys, right? All the conversations I've had and the skills that I've picked up over the years before jumping into the Afghan community with Imtiaz, every conversation I've had, these guys have huge potential, but majority of them are very scared to put one foot in front of the other to hit their milestones. So every time I have conversations with them, I just say, look, I'm going to jump in with you. Let's build that traction together. I'm here working day and night. There's times that I sleep 2 hours a night just to make sure that I give them the right direction, the right resources, the right understanding on how the UK market works. It's not always about trying to get funding from somewhere. It's not always about driving your Uber continuously until you make 50, 60K to be able to invest in the business. You got to be able to understand how to utilize the people around you, how to utilize the networks around you, utilize the resources around you to continue building. I've done it. You've done it. Why can't they do it? Right? So this is what I bring to my own people. This is what I bring to ABC. I want to show them that things are possible at zero. So I want to show them that these things are possible. You can make your first £1,000,000 without the struggle, without the investment, and you just keep building. I've had conversations, for example, with I'm not going to name them, but there's individuals who want to create like certain products or juices, and I'm just like, why don't you just start? Find somebody, get into commercial partnership, and start pushing it out there. Build some traction, make your first sale, and then from that first sale, reinvest into the business. And I just keep showing them as much direction as possible. And while I do that, I also learn myself. I also learn continuously of the mistakes they make, of on how intelligent they are, and some of the mistakes I made before that I shouldn't have made in my own journey. And honestly, these guys have so much capability, and that's why I bring the business side, and I'm so excited for the future.
How does one start a business? You say, why don't you just start? How do you just start? How does one start a business?
You get the idea, and you go sell. For me, it's all about sales. Like when I first, I'm actually, like, we've just launched an Nari juice, right? So we've just launched a pomegranate juice.
That's good.
We've got stock,
Wow.
but until we don't get those pre-orders, we're not going to get out there. We're not going to have like 1 million bottles waiting for us in a warehouse or in the freezer. We don't have like ridiculous amounts of employees. We've just got one person. We go out there, every cafe, give them a taster, and then get them to pre-order. And once the pre-orders come in, we've got 14 days because we've just started, and then we make the juice and send it across. And then the revenue comes in, we reinvest, and we just continue growing. And when you say, how do you start a business? You get that idea and you find your first client. When you get your first client, you reinvest and you continue growing.
Okay, that's quite interesting when it comes to starting a business by starting sales. Looking at my background and especially learning from the industry leaders, that's what a lot of people say. But what would you say is the number one issue for entrepreneurs when they want to begin doing that? What stops them?
Themselves, literally themselves. The confidence, the ability to understand that everything's on the other side of a good conversation. To understand that network is everything. Who you know is everything. You find the right people, and it's a numbers game. You speak to enough people, one of them is going to buy something, because investments don't happen in businesses; they happen in people. And I learned that. Well, you tell me, because you're the one that teaches me most of the time, right? So you tell me how do people start businesses?
I think that people start a business a long time before they actually think of a name and they start going out to people and try to sell their products or services. I think it begins with the mindset. I think it begins with a need for freedom, realistically. Most people that want to start a business want to have control over their life, but realistically, they don't want to focus on the control bit. They want to focus on the freedom to control their own life, their time. When is it going to be time to work? When is it going to be time to rest? When can I go on holiday? When can I don't know, go and just go out with my friends, have fun? When can I just chill at home with the family or whatever? They want to have control over these things, but that's not control. That's freedom. That's freedom to choose. So I think a person begins to build their business and the structure for their business when they realize how much freedom they want in their life. Because I'm not saying that the people that have 9-to-5 jobs are not free. I'm just saying that they have a different kind of freedom. And it just depends on the type of person that you are, because the people that are entrepreneurs generally, they want to have full freedom of choice so they can do whatever they want with their life, not to manage their life around their job, but rather manage their job around their life. That's what they're trying to achieve. I've been on both sides many times. I've done crossovers. I've been an entrepreneur and an employee. They actually came up with a name for that. It's called employeepreneurship. That's what they called it. So I've tried that as well, just to see what it's about, what that world is like, and I can totally see it. But going back to your question, how do people start a business? By defining what they're actually trying to achieve for themselves. A lot of people want to start a business because they want to make money. Making money is not why you're doing it. Why do you want to make money? So you can have freedom. So you can do whatever you want. So you can get things. So you can buy things. Usually so you can buy time, your own time. So you don't need to work. You don't need to go places to make money, to pay the bills. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, we go back to, what do I want from life? That's what gets a person to start a business or even get a job. It just gets them to take action.
100%. Now coming back, I want to go back as to why I started entrepreneurship and I started business. I started business because, again, coming back to the health situation, I want to get to a place where I have enough investments, I have enough money coming in, so I can go back and start tackling the autoimmune world. That's my why. That's my why I want to help as many people with autoimmune conditions understand that there is a way out. And to do that, it's a massive mountain to climb. Even to break it is going to take me a million years to break that mountain. So that's my why. And I think, yeah, I started. Yeah, you're totally right. I started ages ago. I started the moment I got sick, I think. And that's when I was just like, no, I have to find a way to make money, and I have to find a way to get the freedom that I need to be able to explore and research and figure out the kind of help I can be for the patients.
Fantastic. So moving back to business and the different ventures that you've had, I really want to hear about the FIFA bit.
Ah, thank you, Nick, for that. That's a good question. As you know, I was always interested in football. We all love football. We all love the sports, the passion. In Afghanistan, I was lucky enough to be chosen. I believe I did a lot of running. I used to run 1 hour per day, and I was a okay footballer, but I think more a footballer. I was a much more coach, because with business and management, we learn the whole aspect of man management. So they chose me to become a FIFA D license coach. The license is already in Afghanistan, but I'm officially registered as a coach. And we have won many cups, inter-ministerial cups, matches, and I had my own team also.
So where do you stand now with that coaching license? Is there a future in that? Any plans?
I would love to, if to be honest, it's a very competitive world of football, be it player, be it coach, and all the players that do not make it at a professional level, they tend to go with their C license, B license coaching also. To be honest, if there is an opportunity available, I would jump onto it, because there's no other job as being a football coach or a football manager. The passion, the team, the spirit, the team formation, that's the most beautiful part, where you've got like 20, 30 players, and you have the power to choose the best people, changing, making sure the attacks, the defense, and that's how you play chess, that's how you play war, that's how you play football, to be honest. So I would love to, but that's something in the CV, Nick, to have, and I'm sure, because life is a big game of football, basically.
So talking about life, tell us a bit about Imtiaz himself. What motivates you? What gets you going outside of business?
Uh, to be honest, there are many areas. You always set goals for yourself, but each time I achieve a small goal, I say to myself, that's not enough. That's the thing I want to see in 5 years. So there are many tick marks that I have done, to be honest. Be it small goals, I know, at an international level or national level. Whether it's the best job, whether it's meeting the best person, whether it's I think, no, this is not enough. Now also, I think with BNP and ABC, we have only touched the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to be done, so much more to be achieved, that I don't know if it makes sense. So I'm never satisfied. Thanks God, I'm grateful of whatever I have received, whether it's health, whether it's family, whether it's friends. I'm always grateful every morning and thankful. I pray to God. I thank God to everything I have received. When I go to bed, when I'm under the blanket, the first thing is I thank God for everything that I have got, from the health, from the work, to the family, to friends. But tomorrow, when I wake up, it's like the hunger to do more. Yes, you're thankful and appreciative that God, but there's so much more to achieve, that I believe, Nick, that I've not even achieved 1% or 2% of the 99% of the things that I want to achieve. So this keeps me going, that there are so many opportunities out there that I need to tick mark. So this keeps me going, to be honest. And the pitch is long, the sky is high, the dreams are high, and the vision is also very high, in my opinion. So hopefully, with Hamza on board and the current team that we have, I'm sure there are many more future projects, successful projects, works, events, big concerts that we have got, big cricketers that we have got planned, big venues, to be honest. Luckily, we had small venues at one stage. Now it's getting bigger and bigger. I'm sure we'll be talking more about it on this Momentum platform quite a lot. Thank you for that, Nick.
Fantastic. So We've touched on the fact that we work together. The ABC works with the Business and People Hub, and overall with the Business and People ecosystem, because we don't have just the hub. We have the Business and People consultancy, and now just recently we founded Momentum. So Momentum is not just the name of this podcast. Momentum with an E in the end is our new venture studio that we just launched a couple of days ago. Hamza, I think you can do a really good shout out there. Tell the people about Momentum and what it's about.
Look, again, these entrepreneurs, they get to a point where the idea turns into traction, and then the traction gets the revenue in, and then they get to a point where they need the funding. And then when we work with our hub members and they grow, and we see that, this founder is just going to be nonstop, they're going to make it. So we catalyze that process and we co-build with them. We put in the investment within those businesses as well, to catalyze. Sometimes, social media right now is in a place where it needs a little bit of investment. So we help them with the marketing side. We help them acquire good talent. We want to make sure that these founders succeed, and bring that failure rate as low as possible in the UK. So Momentum Ventures is for people that are building relentlessly, and is tired, and they get to a point when they need that bit of a boost, and we're here to do that.
Fantastic. Momentum Ventures was found so we can help the people that are working hard enough to make us see them through the platforms that we've built. So we can help them not just with funding, but with the skills, the knowledge that we have, the platforms that we've built, and the networks that we've acquired throughout the years. So we're not just a venture studio that throws money at different businesses and hopes to get a good return. We actually help businesses build themselves up, and we help people build their dream businesses. That's what I think sets us apart from everybody else. Now, with the hub, let's talk about the hub a little bit more. We learned about the Afghan British Council. We learned about what the hub is doing with the Afghan British Council. But I think it's a really good time to talk about the hub a bit. I myself am the head of the consultancy part of our ecosystem. Hamza is the head of the hub. So Hamza, tell us about the hub. Tell us what is the hub doing right now? What has been happening pretty much since the start of the year?
Yeah, so I built a private business club in London, a private members club before. And one of the things that I realized is that a lot of these guys that look successful, and they come into these private members clubs and they join the community. And when you start to dissect a little bit more and you go into their, like, how much revenue they're making, what's their business structure, they actually weren't as successful as they looked. So when Nick became one of my members, and you had, this beautiful experience of building and exiting businesses, I said, and we had a conversation, and you said, look, I'm going to come into the club that I was with previously, and you said, look, I want to help you build this. I want to be able to help you understand your members a little bit better, and I want to help you understand how to get them to their first £1 million, how to get them to their first £5 million. And then we tried. It didn't really go to plan, because I wanted to be with you. I wanted to do things. I don't know if I should say this, but the rest of the team wasn't on the same page as us. So I left, because I wanted to do good for these guys. It wasn't just about making money. It was about making sure that they make money. They have the freedom, as we said earlier. So we formed the Business and People Hub. And straight away, some of those members joined myself, because they joined most of the time when the community leader represents and stands for the right things. These entrepreneurs follow. So when they joined us, and as soon as they came into the hub, the first thing we do now is that, well, from the beginning, is that we do a 60-minute diagnostics. We figure out who they are, what they want to achieve, what their goals are, how much money they want to make, what's the resources they currently have, what's the skill set they've accumulated over time, and then give them a 90-day roadmap of what to do exactly every single week to continue building traction. making their sales, reaching out to the right people. We give them list of contacts. We give them resources from contracts, events, making sure they speak to the right members, the right mindset information, self-development. So it's on 3 pillars: business growth, value creation, and self-development. And then every 90 days, we then iterate. We focus on what went right in the hub and what they've done in their business, what went wrong. And they hold us accountable for what the hub has provided for them. And we hold them accountable on their metrics, on how well they've been growing. And every 90 days, we do a new 90-day plan, and then we continue iterating for them to grow. And we've had some beautiful success stories. We've had people that come in from with on universal credit, now making £6,000-7,000 a month in their business. I would say they're financially free because they can pay themselves. Right at this stage, we already know that businesses fail after 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, right? But these guys are, it's beautiful because they get even more motivated. They get their first employee, and we help them with that. I've got somebody called Fatimata, who's the founder of Gamal. She wouldn't mind me shouting her out. The founder of Gamal, and we speak on a weekly basis because that's what she needs, and that's what we're going to give her. And every week we talk about how to generate more sales, how to make sure the tech is right, how to then have that cohesion within the team, how to build culture. And her product is beautiful because she gets mothers from across the world in the UK, and she brings grandma's recipes to people's footsteps. Imagine like how many times you order from outside, but then the closest thing to your mom's cooking is when another mother cooks, right?
Oh, that's
So, and
amazing.
this is what she does. And why wouldn't I help with that? Right. So now she's just launched. She's got some people now ordering through her app, and it's just beautiful. And I give her the help. And sometimes I become super brutal. And this is where I have to be. I get on, and I'm just like, "What have you done? What have you done over the last week?" And this is not Fatimata, by the way, but this is some of the members. And I say, "What have you done over the last week?" You gotta have that ruthlessness inside you. You gotta go into building. If you want to go into Google and sell them a service, you go and knock on their door every single day until they have a meeting with you. You gotta make sure that you're relentless, you persevere, you make sure that you get what you want with integrity. That's what the hub is a place where they can call home, as a place that they can build trust, as a place that they can connect with others. Now we've got a platform that they can directly message other members as well. So they can go on there. If they find somebody else useful, they're like, okay, fine, I'm going to message this person. And it's fully encrypted. This a lot of thanks to Nick. And they can message each other. They can interact with each other. And hopefully this platform, it will grow to a point where we'll have events on there. We'll have interactions on there. We'll have live events on there where we can get involved. Afghanistan, education, lots of good things. So the hub is a place where people can grow their businesses and they can self-develop to a stage where they can be proud of themselves. And it makes me feel good to be in a position that, as the leader with Nick, of course, to make sure that we do the right things and help them. And we go above and beyond. The membership for us, it doesn't even make money. But when we see these guys progressing and doing well, it's like, wow. It's such a good feel factor. Yep. We've had several events, and we've got a massive year ahead of us. We're going to be interviewing some big politicians. We're going to be interviewing some big names. We've got a Christmas party coming up on the 15th of December. And then we've got Tycee Gallagher, who's the bantamweight champion, on the 21st, and 27th of January. Before that, we've got a couple of politicians, but it hasn't released yet, so I'm not gonna mention them just now. We've got a massive concert coming with ABC. We'll be doing a lot of Afghan events as well. We'll be aiming to do about 8 to 10 events a month from the new year. And Imtiaz can tell you a little bit about some of the Afghan events that's coming up.
Well, Dick and Hamza, I'm a very hard person to get along with, so I'm very thankful for the team that I have. They always tolerate me, or they keep up to me. I also believe what we have is a common vision. The common vision is to help others. We all champions of different causes. We all have that voice for the voiceless in the Afghan community, and we believe through these events that many more in June, July, August. We have got up to 28 massive events coming up, and everyone getting 100 people, 200, 300 people. We may have a 2,000-3,000 event coming up soon also. We cannot reveal much because it's closely wrapped for time being, but I'm sure we'll promote it through this momentum program very soon. So a really successful year in my opinion, because many accolades, awards, many ups and downs in 2025. But 2026 will be a massive year for business and people and for ABC, because we have got some big names, some big politicians, some big real estate developers, some big musicians, some big sportsmen. Is also, I would like to I'm not going to details of the field that they are in, but I believe I think it looks very positive. I'm looking forward to it. We have gone through the challenges, and now we'll see the results coming up in 2026. Hopefully, with you on board, Nick, we can achieve new heights and new limits.
Absolutely. I've got your back. I've got both of
Thank you.
your backs.
Thank you.
I have one question before we wrap this up. What makes the Business and People Hub stand out? What's different about it when you compare it to all the other communities that you know of and you've been part of and you've co-built and so on? What makes it different?
We're there with them along the way. There's a lot of communities out there that they do networking, and then they get the membership in, or they funnel it into their other businesses and all of these things. We're not about that. This is why I joined forces with you, because we're going to give them the hand holding that they need. We're going to be there and co-build with them. And if we've got a big team now, so whenever they need our help, they've got priority support. They're booking those calls, and it's just we're about people. And I think it's really, really important to have the right team to then do that also within the Business and People Hub and ABC. But at the same time, one of my focuses it keeps increasing every time to make sure we get the right people as members as well. And I think that's going to be really important, because if we've got the right people who are willing to go through the adversity, to go through the challenges, to go through the so-called failures, to then get to the other side for success, we want those people in. We want those people to work with us. We are happy to work with those guys as well, and just give them everything they need for them to succeed. That's what sets us apart, because we're there for the people. We're not just there to make money or grow a business or all of that stuff. We've seen it several times, with communities. There's a lot of communities out there that it's just a community, and they've just got a WhatsApp group, or they're just doing little events or networking events, and there's always complaints, and we've felt it, we've experienced it. So what we do at the hub is something that I don't think other people are doing for the price that we've put for the membership as well. I know the price is not important for us; it's just making sure that they show commitment. But we're there. I'm happy to help as soon as I've got time. I'm giving my time to these guys to make sure they get to where they want to be.
Similarly, why ABC stands out differently is because there are many groups, Nick, as you can see. Every person has got a group, a community, a WhatsApp group. Why ABC and BNP are different? Because we have managed 3,500 bachelor's, master's, and PhD level into our group. Our groups are all educated. That's what makes it stand out. So when you put an idea, a proposal, a policy, everybody picks up onto it and they start working on it. And they are much more. And also, we believe in one Afghanistan. There's no north, east, west, south, people, females. We stand out because we are united. Everyone is welcome, or should I say every Afghan is welcome who's educated, who believes in us in the last couple of years. And we have had 10 years, a long time, Nick, to be running. Before it was called C4A, Capacity for Afghanistan, but due to licensing reasons, it's changed to Afghan British Council. And I think we have came a long way, and there's many benchmarks up in the coming years. Thank you.
Fantastic. So we have an incredible guest with a very colorful background that is yet to become even more colorful in the next years, especially with what we're doing together. So stay tuned. Guys, this was the first episode of Momentum. Thank you for listening or watching, whichever platform you're on. Please like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. This was not just the first episode of this podcast. It was the first ever episode that we just decided to do without any planning whatsoever. We just decided to do it straight away. So Imtiaz, thank you for joining.
Thank you, Nick, for having me. Thank you.
And
Thank you,
see you
Hamza.
next time, guys.
Peace, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.